to today's remote edition of Cronkite Sports Now. I'm Brie Peters. Good news, baseball might be back. The MLB and MLBPA are working with the CDC to potentially have all 30 teams play the MLB season here in Arizona.
It just seems a little far-fetched to bring in, 30 teams with the personnel and everything. It's about 100 people per team. And you're talking about all these players coming from different states, different countries, and now being in isolation. I admire the ingenuity of it, but I think it's going to be very hard to pull off.
The NHL is also looking to continue its season by spitballing any ideas at this point. One current location that comes to mind, North Dakota. The Rolf Engelstad Arena would be a plausible destination if the season were to continue. Even though sports aren't being played, athletes still need to stay in shape. With gyms, courts, and fields all closed due to COVID-19, just how are these athletes staying in shape? Cronkite News reporter Harry Croton has a story.
Professional beach volleyball player Katie Spieler has recently made some adjustments to her training. The seaside setting is now her parents' backyard, the sand a grassy lawn, and the net a strand of ribbon tied between two posts, while public workout facilities remain closed.
You're just kind of coming up with, okay, what can I do with one ball by myself? And it's really fun. You just get creative and you get good at doing weird plays, which is in every sport.
America's athletes are rethinking their game plan, especially after President Trump announced Saturday that it would be at least 4 months before competitions resume. But Katie hasn't hesitated, coming up with a variety of new ways to stay fit and focused while practicing social distancing.
If you're alone, you can always do just like passing to yourself, walking. Hand setting is a really good one right now because it's a lot of like technique, and one of my favorite ones recently has been hill sprints. So just finding any hill and sprinting up it and then walking down.
It's not just the pros like Katie having to rethink their workouts. With the NCAA abandoning all sports for the rest of the academic year, collegiate athletes are on the same page.
Problem is they have no access to a weight room anymore. So it's the good old days, push-ups, dips on the back of your chair. You can still go out inside and run. For the most part, but that's tough.
Tough for athletes of all ages. Katie co-directs a youth volleyball academy at East Beach in Santa Barbara, California, where the nets have been taken down indefinitely. With little certainty surrounding when in-person classes may resume, Katie's instead taken to social media as a way to keep her students informed.
I try to every day film a few drills that you can do in your backyard or even inside. We're just hoping that this dies down and that we can start up again and just finish out that session.
In the meantime, though, athletes of every sport and level are getting creative. And while reinventing a court or field at home may require some adjustments, the process of keeping in shape remains unchanged. Harry Croton, Cronkite Sports.
Some athletes, such as golfers, can still train as courses remain open in several states, as long as visitors stay 6 feet apart. But for the majority of athletes, the next several months require some creativity. One sport that isn't talked about enough is UFC, but that might change as they are looking to continue events amidst the coronavirus. Yesterday, President Dana White announced that he has secured a location within the United States to host events starting April 18th. This location is an undisclosed island. Though the details are still being discussed, White is ready to get back into action. During this time of uncertainty, what is for certain is the Cardinals' dedication to their community. Cards head coach Cliff Kingsbury says this.
Challenging times, man. I wanted to come out and do what I could do and help these folks out. You got to have a ton of respect for what they do each and every day, putting themselves in harm's way, and just goes a long way.
There is no skating for the Yotes as of now, but that was absolutely not the case 8 years ago. For today's Arizona Sports Rewind story, let's take a look at April 7, 2012, when the Phoenix Coyotes took the Pacific Division and made it all the way to the Western Conference Finals. And today is April 7, 2020. But what happened on April 7, 2012? Jenna Ortiz joins me today, and we're talking all about Coyotes. Jenna, tell me what happened.
Well, on this day in history, they were then the Phoenix Coyotes. They went to Minnesota, and they were playing in the final game of the season to clinch the Pacific Division title. And so they were just in this tight race with both the San Jose Sharks and the Los Angeles Kings, and it all came down to the last game. So they were able to win in a 4-1 victory against the Minnesota Wild, and that pretty much sealed the deal.
So what about this game? What did it mean to the organization, you think?
It meant so much because it was their chance to win their first Pacific Division title. They've never won that. Even when they were the Winnipeg Jets, they never had that mark. So they really wanted to win this and be able to show that hockey did exist in the Valley. Around this time, there were a lot of ownership drama, and they needed this to show the fans that what doesn't matter is the drama. The drama doesn't matter. It's all about the hockey, and they were able to play some great hockey around this time.
And you had some notable names in that lineup at the time. You had Shane Doan, you had Oliver Ekman-Larsson back when he was playing his first full season. You had Mike Smith, Paul Bissonnette. That was a good team.
They were so good. One of the common themes while I was working through the story was about just how great Mike Smith really was for this team. It was his first season with them, and he was just an off-season acquisition. And he just stepped in and played some amazing games. I mean, around this streak, because they were on a 5-game win streak, it wouldn't have been possible without his amazing performances in net. And they were a defense-first team, so they were able to get just enough goals to win, but without him in net, they wouldn't have gotten those victories.
All right. Well, thanks for joining me today, Jenna. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Brie.
That will do it for today's show. For top Arizona sports stories from around the Valley, visit the Cronkite Sports tab on arizonasports.com. And as always, for top Arizona news stories, head on over to our website at cronkitenews.azpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. Stay safe and have a great rest of your Tuesday.